nasty part of the climb beforehand to really put you in trouble, and then you've got that steep part, and then you haven't got any recovery because you've got another K and a half to get to the top.
Peter Vakoc has been caught from the break, and there's BMC all lined up on the front, ready for Dylan Teuns. We wondered where their bodies and numbers were. We know they're lacking a couple of riders as well. We know that Ben Hermans has been in the hospital for a few days. BMC were excellent yesterday, despite the fact that Dylan Teuns couldn't finish the job and win the stage. If they ride anything like they rode yesterday, their man has a chance of holding on.
Yeah, and what he did do yesterday, he rode very conservatively, because at one point he got dropped and managed to claw his way back up to that front group. Micah couldn't capitalise and take any of the time bonuses, so he rode a very sensible race for a rider that's new to winning bike races at this level, shall we say. 24 seconds now, Sagan, to the second group, and 39 seconds back to the group which contains the leader and the King of the Mountains.
Ruben Plas has been caught. It's Rohan Dennis again riding. And he's been doing his work sort of close to the last climb, but he has also been exceptional this week. Remember, just behind him, Samuel Sanchez, former podium star from the Tour de France, Olympic champion, in 2008. Behind him, the yellow jersey, Dylan Teuns, the Belgian. Fourth wheel for BMC, in team kit again in black and red, TJ Van Garderen, who's been a bit of a revelation this week.
Yeah, maybe he's found his niche as super domestique, although he did have that day where he attacked and was caught about 4 kilometres from the finish. I think we can assume that the remnants of the break has probably been caught and been disposed of, as Ruben Plas has now come back, so we've only got Rosa up the road and Sagan, we're assuming.
We think maybe Tomasz Marcinski is the third rider on the road. He attacked as well just behind Rosa. So we'll have a look now. This is Rosa. He's chasing Sagan, and according to the timing equipment, there's 24 seconds of a difference. Is Tomasz Marcinski still on the road? Well, he's wearing a red jersey. We saw him about 2 minutes ago. Yep. A couple of riders ahead.
He's just come around that corner in the background there.
And Tomasz Marcinski, former Polish champion, up there on the road, trying to do his job. And here come the rest. And you talked about the rest of the breakaway being swallowed up, and here it is.
Yeah, a couple of riders there just going back to the group.
One of those riders still out there's Robert Power. Cheswick is there as well for the Polish national team. And Rohan Dennis is doing his job. Team Sky have 2 riders in this group surrounding Wout Poels.
Any of you sitting at home watching this thinking this is Sagan's bid to get the yellow jersey back and win the race? He lost 14 minutes and 45 seconds yesterday, so with only 15k to go, I think even for a man of his many talents, that's a very big ask indeed.
Dylan Teuns in the yellow jersey, 25 years of age. Thumbs up from the camera in that yellow jersey. Won a stage of the Tour de l'Avenir in 2014, then he became a professional, and straight away a stage at the Dauphiné. Third in Flèche Wallonne this year, on the podium there, and of course winning his first stage race, this time just about a week and a half ago. Peter Sagan is a phenomenon. We knew that already. As I've just seen written somewhere, it only takes one Sagan to make a race.
Yeah, I know we've done it to death, but the Tour de France was a lesser race without him in it. And of course, Mark Cavendish.
Unanimous agreement, I'm pretty sure, for that. Antoine Tolhoek has just been absorbed, so the rest of the break has been brought back there. Only Marcinski, Rosa and Sagan up the road now. Look out for Wilco Kelderman on the right-hand side in the black and white jerseys. Team Sunweb, they are going to send him to the Vuelta a España to see where he can get on the overall general classification. They've said no pressure. Interesting to see what he can do.
Tolhoek's going backwards there at a fair rate of knots, halfway down the peloton on the left-hand side. Purple jersey, yellow and black helmet. This is interesting. Sky moving to the front as BMC have shredded one rider.
Sagan approaching the mid part of this climb. Remember, the climb does top out a little further up the road. Something like 11 kilometres to go. 13 kilometres to go, it tops out. So he's approaching here the most difficult part, those 22%, those horrific gradients. And remember, as Tony was saying, this particular kilometre averages 13.5%, averages 13.5%. Very, very steep roads. In fact, steeper than anything we saw in the Tour de France.
It's really interesting now watching this race from above, the dynamic of who's moving up and who's struggling slightly. And Dylan Teuns now looks like he's on his own. He's got one teammate still in there, but look at this. Not only is it steep, look how poor the road surface is.
You will feel every centimetre of road moved on through the handlebars here.
Yeah, interesting as well. When he went over the last climb, he was looking for a bottle and can't see if he... Oh, yeah, he has managed to get a bottle.
Oh, digging really deep here. Peter Sagan going all in and almost going off the road.
And his 23 seconds could be wiped out just on this section of the climb.
Well, Sagan's going to have to climb if he wants to hold on to the rainbow jersey again this year in Norway. They're short, sharp, steep climbs. Sagan on the top left leads the race. Behind him, Diego Rosa on the top right. Bottom left is the third man who's just looking around now. Tomasz Marcinski. In the meantime, Franco Pellizotti is trying to move things up for Vincenzo Nibali behind him, Bahrain Merida. That is in what we call the main peloton, the yellow jersey group.
25 seconds, Nibali is down on the leader of this race. It's Rafa Majka and, well, Rafa Majka, Wilco Kelderman and Wout Poels that are really in the mix here. Great crowds yet again, absolutely fantastic support for this race.
Sagan riding into a wall of Slovakian fans who've come across the border to cheer him on in Poland. He's still at the front of the race, but only just. And look how steep this is. Oh. Fighting with the bike, fighting with everybody, but there's no shortage of encouragement.
No shortage of encouragement. But the thing is, when you see the crowd running alongside the riders at the Tour, they're virtually sprinting when they're going up the Alps because they're not that steep. You can see here this idiot with the phone and the cap on backwards just jogging in front of Sagan. That's how steep it is, and this is a problem. There's far too many people in the way. You can hear the motorbikes beeping, trying to get them out of the way. We saw at the Tour de France the police motorcyclists were quite aggressive with the crowd. This is what we need here. We need a couple of these guys to get smashed across the side of the road and moved out of the way.
Tell you what, looks great on the telly though, doesn't it? Sagan at the front now. Then we've got movement from behind. Dylan Teuns looks like he's been left isolated. It's all down to the GC guys now. And this is Wout Poels making a move at the start in the black jersey for Team Sky. Just behind him in the black and white green helmet, you can see Rafał Majka.
TJ looked like he was still there, TJ Van Garderen, just behind Dylan Teuns there.
Matej Mamikin there for Katusha Alpecin as well, but he looks like he's about to go backwards in the red. Wout Poels is the man that's really doing the damage now, as the Basque supporters have made their way all the way over to Poland with the flags. And Sagan is still there, still going. There's something to bridge up for Rafał Majka behind.
Yeah, something to bridge up for. He just needs to get over the top of this climb. We saw Wout Poels was the rider making the move there, back in the bunch.
Davai, and there goes his teammate. Rafał Majka, the pole, and this is going to be a popular move. Sagan up the front in front of all those Slovakian supporters. A little chant of, come on then, I need some help here.
Yeah, and there you go.
Rafał Majka, get out the way, he says. He also wants Wout Poels to do a little bit of work. So Poels and Majka for the moment are going to have to be allies to try and drop the yellow jersey.
Yeah, they've got a couple of lengths lead over him at the moment, but they certainly haven't distanced him. And on a climb this steep, they need to make the big effort to get the gap.
And here they're approaching that section at 22%, whereas Sagan has passed it. You can see the big arch ahead of him. He's going to go over and take maximum points again. Sagan progressed the top of the final King of the Mountains climb. So much enthusiasm for bike racing here.
Don't forget, although it's the last King of the Mountains climb, we drop down and then we've got another short, sharp, steep climb of probably about 2.5 kilometres. This is Diego Rosa in the meantime, not far away from him. So Wout Poels, we saw making that move, is going to have a mountain man with him for the finale maybe. And Rafał Majka is going to have Peter Sagan maybe to lead him into that final little... What you were talking about, it, a rise to the line. Yeah, but what a ride Sagan's doing. He's maintained 35 seconds over Rosa on climbs like this.
Have these guys left it too late as Wout Poels goes again?
For the stage win, no, not at all. Not at all, I don't think so.
Poels then towards the top, and these gaps are closing. These gaps are really closing now. Looking behind, Dylan Teuns is still hanging on. Adam Yates is still there as well. Pozzo Vivo is in with a shout too. Vincenzo Nibali at the back, by the way. Nibali not a factor here. I can tell you that Wilco Kelderman is, And
Is
that's
that
the
Jack
state of
Haig?
play.
Is that Jack Haig still there from Orica? It's definitely Yates on the back.
Well, if there is a man there for Orica, that helps. Oh, he failed to pick up the beat on there, did Wout Poels. There is a man up the road yet for Orica, Scott. Yates is definitely there, and he's watching the yellow jersey. Now,
Gap's going. It might not look like anything at this stage, but if they put the pressure on, that gap can open up, and Poels is pulling away from Micah.
Poels is giving it a go on the descent here. Wout Poels from the Netherlands, remember, Sky's first monument winner, Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
Yeah.
Michal Kwiatkowski has since gone on to take Milano-San Remo as well. But
Been out virtually all of the year with an injury, has come back. I think it was the Route du Sud. He came back in first off, and now he's here trying to hone his form for the Vuelta that starts on the 26th of August.
well, Poels has to make quite a bit more time up than Rafał Majka. Poels is at 13 seconds, pardon me, from Dylan Teuns. Sagan again. He's really giving his all today.
And you would expect that of him. He's a rider that's a great bike handler. And I know after the Tour de France, people were questioning, should he have done this? Did he do this? But Micah now has got up to Poels. Just need that camera to pan out a little bit so we can see if they've opened the gap and it's just the two of them, or if they've still got the remnants of that bunch. This is coming up to the corner that Sagan just took. 22 seconds now, Sagan to Rosa, and another 36 seconds back to the group.
They're all together still. Tight turns once more, narrow roads, as you said. You'd had that information. And they look around at each other. They wonder what's going to happen. Again, it's Poels who goes. No stranger to winning the overall at a bike race, by the way. He has won the overall Tour of Valencia, but if he was to take the stage race win here today, this would be the biggest one-week stage race win in his career.
Well, not only that, it'd be a massive boost to his confidence with the Vuelta coming up in the next couple of weeks, having had so much time out. And you can see here, he was trying to get rid of them. He's not managed to distance them. So he takes the pressure off, as I think it's TJ Van Garderen.
Is this looking good for Dylan Teuns at the minute?
At the minute it is, yeah. But hey, you know, we're talking such short time gaps that this could change in the last 300 metres.
Remember, 10 bonus seconds on the line for the stage winner. 6 for the man in second place, and 6 seconds is the difference between first and second in this race. You saw the yellow jersey a minute ago. The man who's second is there wearing 73 in the black and white jersey. That's Rafał Majka, the former winner of this race, the home rider from Poland, and the man who Peter Sagan has been trying to set up. 11 Ks to go in the meantime.
Former the King of the Mountains as well in Tour de France, don't forget.
2 occasions nonetheless. Now Pozzovivo at the back here. This is Adam Yates, the man who's right at the back of the group in the navy jersey. No prizes for guessing who this is.
Pozzovivo never looks comfortable on his bike, doesn't he? He always looks like he's fighting it, and it's a team that, you know, it's a team that's massively on the up, and they've signed some great riders for this year, for next year coming. Changed from focused bikes to Factor over the winter, which took a lot of change, and the riders trying to adapt to them.
Now a move from here from Wout Poels to try and get up to this move, because they can see that Diego Rosa, Wout Poels' teammate, is ahead. And this is where the rest of the riders have to be careful now. They have to watch. This is a move being made by Team Sky to try and get some help and break up the group behind.
Yeah, this is Wout Poels jumping across that gap. He'll get across to Diego Rosa, and even if Rosa's only got 500 metres left in him, that could just be enough to, there you go, to stretch it out and to pull Wout Poels away. And there you go, he says, I'm here, just let's go. So we would expect to see Micah react here. Dylan Teuns has gone. Dylan Teuns has gone.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And this is a big move. The yellow jersey is being dropped. The yellow jersey dropped. He's radioing in to say he has a problem. He's got his teammate, and as soon as he heard that message, his teammate did slightly move to the right. He's looking behind now is TJ Van Garderen.
Yeah, TJ Van Garderen in front of the bunch. He's actually stopped. TJ's just taking the pressure off the pedals completely, and now this is the plan. Wout Poels gets across to Diego Rosa. Diego Rosa will just empty the tank. And is this Jack Haig as well?
Yep, so TJ Van Garderen waits, looks across to try and close the gap. But has Rafał Majka missed the boat here?
Yeah, at the moment he has, but it's only a small gap at the moment. And don't forget, Sagan's still up the road as well. So Majka needs to make a move sooner rather than later. It looked like when Dylan Teuns caught TJ Van Garderen, Dylan Teuns was doing the work and TJ just sat on his wheel, which is a strange one.
I wonder how much TJ Van Garderen has left in the tank, perhaps. Sagan is about to be caught. Sagan looking behind now.
Rose is doing a great ride here. He's been out on his own for the last 22 kilometres chasing Sagan, and now that Pauls has got across to him, and we can see TJ now sitting in front of Dylan Teuns trying to get him back on terms with the front group.
Well, this is not something that Dylan Teuns is used to, holding the leader's jersey and knowing how to deal with it in a World Tour race, and a World Tour race where there are small numbers in teams, where it's up and down all day. This is not an ordinary bike race. As Sky hit the front, Diego Rosa with Wout Poels. We're into the final 10 kilometres now. Diego Rosa is doing the ride of his life here for Wout Poels. Behind them, Jack Haig, yesterday's stage winner, as Peter Sagan moves to the side, waits to try and give his last bit of energy. Yeah. You imagine to close this gap and bring Rafał Majka back into contention.
Well, it's an interesting one that neutral service car from Mavic has been left in there. And just as we say that, it gets pulled out of the way. Because what Sagan will do now, it'll just drop back to about here. And this should give a springboard to Majka to jump across to Sagan, and Sagan to then bring him up to the front. We're on this last little bit of this climb that just kicks up.
14 seconds, we're seeing the difference back to the yellow jersey here. So front of race to yellow jersey. The group we saw the minute ago with Majka somewhere in the middle. As it stands, he's losing the races, Dylan Teuns.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see here in the background, Majka is he's just launched that attack, got across to Sagan, and Sagan's now going to take him up to those leaders. I mean, Sagan's been out the front all day in that breakaway. He's then been out the front on his own, and he's still helping his teammate.
Diego Rosa, in the meantime, is gone.
Yeah.
He has cracked. He's done a wonderful ride today.
And he's not going to help TJ Van Garderen and Dylan Teuns in the slightest, because he'll want Wout Poels to win this.
Well, Wout Poels had been up the front. He's now been caught again.
Sagan goes again to try
the front once more.
But he's going off the front to try and push this group away from Dylan Teuns.
Who's going to follow? In the meantime, everyone else deciding it's time to eat your drink, because there's more climbing to come out at the end of this descent. Fascinating race tactically.
It was teed up for this. When I was looking at it last night, after we left the race, looking at it thinking this is going to be a great stage, and that's exactly what's happening. At the moment, it's an awkward one, because Sagan's gone off the front again. He's not going to affect the overall result. The guys in this group, yes, they want to win the stage, but that's not really what they're here for. They're here for the overall.
20 mountain points to Peter Sagan. If he's not careful, he's going to be riding himself into the pink jersey as well as the sprints jersey at the end of this race. Fairly close anyway. Got quite a few points today. Last couple of climbs he's taken. Here he is at the front once more. Superman Sagan today. 7.5 kilometres to go. It's Team Sunweb who have 2 men behind. Sam Oomen again is there for Wilco Kelderman, and they're doing the riding behind just to try and keep tabs on Sagan.
Yeah, but they don't need to. You know, they can let him go. It doesn't matter. We'll let the stage win go. We'll sacrifice that to take the win overall. The concern is, what's the tactic between Sagan and Majka? Dylan Teuns has got back on here.
Dylan Teuns is back, and he still has a man back, as you can see a little bit of a conversation there between Wilco Kelderman and Wout Poels.
Yeah, that'll be a, what do you think? How you doing? How's your legs? What's the score? And you kind of ask your friendly rivals how they're doing, and a sort of how you feeling, just to judge where they're at and what they're thinking.
2 Dutchmen, of course, having that conversation there, albeit in different teams.
So this last climb starts off 3k to go at 798 meters and goes up to 941 meters, but there is the first k of it is an 8% average with 11.5% in there as well, so it's not an easy climb.
Not an easy climb whatsoever. Bukovina in the last few years has provided a brilliant backdrop to these final stages.
So the only tactic now is Sagan goes up front, waits for Majka, and Majka uses him as a springboard for later on.
How will it pan out? We're about to see. Look at that, how narrow, how twisty and turny. They're fairy tale roads to ride on these.
Well, it's like the classics, isn't it? You know, tight, twisty, short, sharp climbs. And, you know, the road surfaces, some are great through this nice little village here. great houses, absolutely beautiful.
In fact, it's such a shame that during that part of the season that the weather here would be too snowy and too unpredictable. We're quite high, because these roads would be a brilliant addition to the Spring Classic programme.
Yeah, very much so. But you can see when they come out the village how patched this road is, because obviously the winters are quite harsh and the frost and the ice gets into the tarmac.
Yeah, well, we were at a ski resort yesterday, very similar here today. We finish at just under 1,000 metres above sea level at Bukovina Tachanska. 71 kilometres per hour here, with Diego Rosa back on the front, back pulling and doing his best again for Wout Poels, who sits in 5th position.
So 2 for Sunweb, 2 for Sky. Is it 2 for AG2R as well?
Orica Scott
and
as
2
well.
for Orica Scott, yeah.
Orica Scott riders yesterday, stage winner Jack Haig, the Australian, and the British rider from Bury, Adam Yates.
Yeah, so Jack Haig, the last of that GC group, he is 12th at 43 seconds.
Well, 20 seconds now for Peter Sagan.
Yeah, it's amazing. Goes away, gets caught, goes away again.
Well,
and that's after bringing Micah back up to Wout Poels.
And getting over that amazing 22% section where he really was zigzagging left to right. Now, Poels was on the radio here. The yellow jersey Dylan Teuns is at the back here. I wonder if everybody's just waiting maybe for Micah to make his move. But, I mean, it's hard to make... He can't make his move here. We're on the relative flat. This is a big group still. The different teams making it. When does he go?
Yeah, I think he uses that short, sharp first kilometre of the climb, and then if he's got Sagan up the road and Sagan manages to get up it and maintain just a little bit of power in his legs, the second kilometre of the climb it's not flat, but it's only 2.6%. So that's the sort of climb where Sagan, with his power, can really help Micah to extend his lead. That for me is the tactic anyway.
Adam Yates peels off, moves, has a word with Jack Haig. Looks as though they might be about to put their own plan into action.
Well, Adam Yates at 19 seconds. Got more to do than quite a few people in front of him.
Adam Yates sits 6th at the moment. You can tell you remember it's Teuns, Micah, Kelderman, Poels, Pozzovivo, the top 5, with Yates, Oman, Nibali, Rui Costa and Youngles up there completing the top 10.
Well, don't forget Nibali's gone, so we can strike a line through his name. Is Rui Costa in this front group? Not sure he is.
3.5 kilometres for the finish for Peter Sagan, but he'll be getting orders about what's going to go on behind.
No, Rui Costa's not in here, so that's Nibali that's gone and Rui Costa that's gone. And this is, for Sagan, about 200 metres. He will start the last climb up to the finish. Here we go.
You have to wonder what Dylan Teuns has left in his legs, because he hasn't looked great so far today. Can he find something for the final lip to the line?
Riding last wheel, which is never a good sign. You know, at least if you're at the front, you've got some sliding space.
Not imposing himself, is he, in the yellow jersey? He's not sitting maybe 3rd or 4th wheel there and sitting behind his teammate TJ van Garderen. It's a funny one. We'll have to see how it goes. In the meantime, it's clear that Wout Poels is quite strong today. It's clear that Rafał Majka looks okay today as well. They're the guys who've been attacking. Poels still has his teammate driving on the front, and they're still driving after this man on the left-hand side, who's 3.3 kilometres from the finish, and he's hitting the steep slopes now.
Interesting as well that more often than not, Majka is on Wout Poels' wheel, when Kelderman is the one right behind Majka in terms of the time. But Majka obviously feels that Poels is the danger.
Has a Sky jersey on his back as well, and we all know how they do ride the end of these stage races as well, and how strong Diego Rosa is at the moment today.
Well, Rosa sitting on the front, trying to keep this moving along. Pozzovivo just behind him in the white with the blue and brown triangles.
He looks absolutely spent.
He's just great for the sport, isn't he? Absolutely brilliant. You can't... You wouldn't be surprised if next year he was winning going up Alpe d'Huez in the Tour de France. You just wouldn't put it past him.
Well, this time last year, he was trying to win a mountain bike gold medal, remember? Yeah. I think only a puncture messed up his race there. That was the Olympic Games,
and he was disappointed afterwards because, you know, Greg Van Avermaet winning that was a perfect... They're such similar riders that Sagan was probably kicking himself.
Sam Oman is going to launch an attack. So, Team Sunweb with Sam Oman, who sits in 7th position overall at 24 seconds, is going to launch it, and it's going to be Pouls who's forced to chase. And the action now is off with 2.8 kilometres to go.
Interesting one that Pouls went straight away after him, sacrificed Rosa, who had been on the front for the last however many kilometres.
And I'm looking behind for the yellow jersey, he's third to last wheel, pardon me.
Yeah, he's still there at the moment with TJ Van Garderen just behind him, but, you know, Pouls was the first one to attack. That shows a lot of intent from him.
Haig on the right-hand side, he's going to follow. Haig next to go. Yesterday's stage winner, riding like he's never ridden in his career before. Pozzovivo is going to take off, and that's dangerous with 18 seconds behind.
Yeah, so there was no reaction to Haig. They probably looked across and thought of 43 seconds, we can manage that. But Pozzovivo goes there. Haig looks behind, and the universal sort of flick of the head as if to say, come on, let's go. Pozzovivo's not interested at the moment. TJ Van Garderen just churning on the front to bring it back.
On towards the end here, remember the toughest gradient is just over 2 kilometres from the line. That's 11.5%. We're approaching that, or at least Peter Sagan's approaching that now. He's just 2 or 3 seconds up the road from the chasers.
Yep, so we're just about on that steep section. You can see TJ Van Garderen back there having to bring this one back.
So surely for Sagan to be of some use now, Mike has got to make the move soon.
Well, you kind of think the speed at which Sagan has come back.
And here goes Micah, pardon me. Micah is moving now from behind. Micah is moving. He's taking the yellow jersey with him. Dylan Teuns is there. Look at what Pouls as well.
Cracked.
Oh. Problems for certain riders. Adam Yates not there either. This is Rafał Majka making his move, and Dylan Teuns suddenly is reacting like we expected him to react in the yellow jersey.
Pouls a minute ago was looking down, looked like he was just about to crack. He's absolutely grinding this one out, Wout Pouls. It's a great ride. Dylan Teuns gritting his teeth. Majka absolutely on the rivet here, trying to smash this one to bits.
And he says to Teuns, come through.
Well, if Teuns goes with him and can get with him to the line, and it's just the two of them, then Teuns has won it.
Yep, remember 10, 6 and 4, so only the 4 seconds difference in terms of the bonuses. We'll remind you that there are 6 seconds separating the man in yellow, Dylan Teuns, and the man on the right hand side looking at him, Rafał Majka, who's in 2nd position. Now through the centre, this is Wout Pouls, who sits 4th at 13 seconds. Yates, remember, behind, Pozzovivo behind, Oman behind, as is Wilco Kelderman, who at the minute is being nudged off the podium.
Jack Haig trying to come across to this move. Wout Pouls driving on the front.
Majka looks around, he's going to make his move. Just less than 2 kilometres to go. We've had the steepest section already, remember.
Well, thought that was going to be a big one by Majka. It wasn't. He just went through to the front and picked up the pace a little bit. Wout Pouls doesn't look comfortable to me at the moment.
It was struggling there. Again, you can feel all the sensations change pedal stroke by pedal stroke. You can feel awful 1 minute, quite a bit better the next.
It's no good Majka asking Teuns to do a turn. He's got the yellow jersey, he doesn't have to.
Rafał Majka in the centre, second wheel. All the attention for the minute in this group is on him. He is the man who immediately can challenge Dylan Teuns.
Yeah, and this is the flattest part of the climb here, and it then kicks up with about 600, 700 metres to go.
Will there be pressure on Majka here, given the ride that Sagan's done for him today? Because he will obviously feel a little bit embarrassed going onto the bus if he can't finish it off tonight.
Yeah, and it was an interesting one there. Majka just pulled off the front, flicked his elbow for Dylan Teuns to come through, and he literally just looked at Majka and shook his head.
Teuns and Pouls exchange a word as Jack Haig's bringing the next group back, and it looks as though Majka might have missed his chance here.
Yeah, it's coming back together. Majka needs to distance Teuns, take the bonus, and have 4 seconds, or 5 seconds, sorry, between the two of them as Jack Haig makes contact.
Great job being done by Sam Oman behind, and Wilco Kelderman. TJ Van Garderen is in that group, but of course he's not going to work. But if he can be brought back, that's some sort of assistance for the yellow jersey. And here comes TJ Van Garderen to assist the yellow jersey. They brought his main helper back. Everyone together, 1 kilometre to go. No change at the minute. Dylan Teuns, as it stands, is going to win the Tour of Poland. But remember, 10, 6 and 4 bonus seconds available on the line. 6 and 10 seconds between second and third place, respectively. 700 metres to go. The Tour of Poland is still in play with TJ Van Garderen at the front. Wout Poels second wheel. Dylan Teuns, the leader in yellow jersey, in third there. And you can see Rafał Majka, the former winner, the Polish star, is going to make his move on the left-hand side now. Rafał Majka on the right as we look at it, as here comes Adam Yates. Adam Yates on the left, started the day at 24 seconds behind. Majka goes, again he can't pull away, and nobody's able to do it here. 300 metres to go. Yates is just looking for a stage win. Yates again at the front. Behind him you can see Wout Poels. It's Yates there for Orica Scott. Poels on the left-hand side. Poels is getting stronger though. Poels all the way, and I think he's going to get this. Poels is there and starts to pull away. Poels, who was at 13 seconds at the start of the day, is there. The yellow jersey is hanging on though. The yellow jersey's hanging on, and look at Majka on the left-hand side. This could be interesting, and this could be very interesting indeed. There is Poels, there is Yates, there is Majka. Poels win the stage, all on the same time. Majka only takes 4 bonus seconds, so we think Poels takes the stage, and Dylan Teuns holds on just about, probably, to keep the yellow jersey. We say that because we have to see if there are any splits on the line. It didn't look like it.
It didn't look like it, but we're in Poland, and I think it's going to be within, I think first will be Dylan Teuns, second will be Majka at